Just checking in, mate. How's everybody travelled, and how's the setup there? And how are you after your run the other day?
Yeah, good, thanks. It was obviously a pretty big travel day. We went straight from the game to the airport, flew overnight, and then bussed from Heathrow to Cardiff. So the boys were pretty jaded last night, but everyone's pulled up in good shape this morning. We had a big gym session, review, a few meetings in the afternoon, and then we went out to an indoor facility, jogged through a few things and did lineouts, and yeah, can't complain, to be honest.
Fair enough. And in terms of Wales, it's a wee while since you've played them and been up there. What sort of information have you been able to get together on them?
Yeah, I suppose as a team, our last game at the World Cup was against Wales, so a couple of years ago. And we've only got the footage to go off. Obviously, they're Six Nations champions, so we know. I think we've sort of recognised we've come off a different sort of game than we normally have in our calendar, and everyone's pretty pumped for this one to, test ourselves against the Six Nations champs.
G'day, Sam. Hey, do your preparations change much, knowing that it is, a slightly different Wales team? Would you sort of expect them to roll with the same kind of strategy that they've been using throughout the year, regardless of the personnel?
Look, our preparation doesn't change in terms of the structure of the week. Like we've got our trainings at certain times, and that's all the same. But without a doubt, there's more different, little tweaks technically and tactically. Obviously, things that I won't chat about on here, but yeah, small things, but they can make a big difference if we get them right.
Awesome. And just looking at your first game back over the weekend, I mean, just your second real game of rugby, obviously this year, really. How are you sort of feeling, and how has it been sort of the step up from King Country to the US last week, and presumably whatever game you've got coming next will be another sort of step up as well?
No, pretty similar games, eh? No, I'm kidding. They're very different. But look, to be honest, I love getting out there with the boys. It's you never take it for granted pulling on the All Blacks jersey, but you certainly appreciate it a little bit more getting it back on after, I suppose, just knowing how much hard work's gone into to get back there. So loved it. Look, lungs and legs even got a little bit of a workout even in the game that was, and a little bit of rust in terms of timing and stuff. But looking forward to another week with training with this side and getting better.
From the injury and the major surgery you had, and for this next month now, I guess you have a different mindset than most of the guys, don't you? How is it in terms of, I guess, your attitude in terms of what you want to achieve over the next month?
Yeah, good question. Cheers, Mark. It's I think for people almost expecting that I'd come in and try and push for a starting spot straight off the bat, probably don't appreciate how tough test match footy is. Look, I'm not quite in a good enough shape or sharp enough to be playing test match footy right now, that's for sure. But like I've said, around another week of training with the All Blacks, my mindset is similar to probably when I first made the squad and knew I was going to get bugger all game time, was to target each day and each week and try and be a better rugby player by the end of the week. And hopefully if I do that, I'll get up to speed reasonably quickly. But there's sort of no expectations or pressure too much internally or from the coach's point of view to sort of take off immediately where I left off. So look, as long as I'm improving every week and getting better, hopefully get some game time at some point, and then we'll just go from there based off merit and how I'm playing, really.
Cool, mate. And just in terms of, I guess, the challenge you face going from King Country to the USA to potentially, hopefully test maybe against France, Ireland, Italy, whoever coming up. How much of a challenge is that for you to kind of go to that absolute highest level?
It's a good challenge. It's one I'm excited. I'm loving being back in the environment, the high standards, the training level and intensity, and getting help and training with such quality players and coaches. So I'm used to that level. I know what's required. It's just about making sure I can get my body back there to doing it as quick as possible.
You're good friends with Gareth Anscombe. I just wondered whether you'd been in touch with him during his recovery from injury, and you know how good will it be to see him back on the pitch after such a bad injury on the weekend?
Yeah, look, yeah, Chick and I go back a wee, or Gareth and I go back a wee while. I think we played New Zealand schools and then 20s, and there's Brodie Retallick and myself took him under our wing at the Chiefs and sort of toughened him up from a city kid into the player that he is today. So we'll be looking forward to Brodie and I were talking about hopefully one of us can get out there and play on the weekend and get a hold of him at a ruck maybe. But like I said before, with the COVID restrictions in the bubble, and I think the Welsh team are pretty similar, there probably won't be any catching up prior to the test match. But look, the injury that he suffered with his ACL, you know, particularly cruel being the World Cup year, and then to have the complications that he had to, you know, get his femur broken, to realign his knee, just horrific stuff, and to have a total of almost 2 years out. Look, I'm talking after coming back after 6 or 7 months and how challenging that was. So he's a tough little character, and just awesome to see him back playing footy, and to see him selected in the Welsh squad would be a nice reward for, you know, countless thousands of hours of hard work, no doubt.
Yeah, just one more for me. Wales are probably set to give a first start to Tame Basham on the weekend, young open side. I just wondered whether you knew anything about him and what you make of the Welsh back row in general.
No, to be honest, if I don't know a lot about him. Look, as I said, when he sort of touched down, got here last night, slept and then full day today. So the computers have been put out and set aside, and over the next couple of days, we'll be doing plenty of analysis.
With you not being with the ABs, obviously had four captains this year. What have you sort of made of that process, and has it been different coming back? You know, not with that responsibility and being allowed to sort of settle back in first and foremost.
Yeah, g'day Liam. Good to see you too. Yeah, pretty unique to have so many AB captains all assembled, I suppose, all guys that have captained the team. And I think it only puts the team in a better place in terms of the leadership and overall. I think the squad's creating awesome depth, but also awesome growth in terms of a lot of guys in the leadership space. So for me, coming back, if I'm honest, it is nice to be able to come back and just focus on, you know, getting back to a high level of performing without having that added leadership responsibility. And I think it's just a good common sense decision. It doesn't make sense for me to take that extra responsibility on when I haven't got my own game exactly where I need it first. So look, I'm still myself in here, help out and chip in and lead where I can. But Sammy Whitelock's got the big mantle and more responsibility at this stage.
You're still managing to, you know, chip in behind the scenes and, you know, throw your 2 cents in when it's required.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that's required. It's not about, you know, trying to do too much, just chip in and help out where I can. And look, I love this team and care about it. So just want to see it do well.